Hello and welcome to Non-Stop Kids Entertainment TV. My name is Alex. I'm going to be doing some fun maths with you for the next little bit. And the maths that I'm going to teach you is, it's really important actually in everyday life. You see lots of banks and lots of internets have lots of information that they need to keep secret. And what they do is they turn it into essentially a secret message. Now, what I'm about to show you is a very basic form. It's not actually how the banks do it, but it's a very basic way of writing secret messages to each other. And by the end of the session today, hopefully we're all going to understand how to understand this secret message. I don't know if you can see it. That's CONMN OC60N. Now I've underlined the zeros so that you can tell the difference between a zero and the letter O. GDN06, GN0HB, JD800, and that means absolutely nothing, I would imagine, to any of you. But to get to this point here, we need to understand what is going on. So I'm going to teach you all now how to make what is called a Caesar cipher. So what we're going to start off by doing, and I'm going to teach you how to make sort of like a key thing that you can use after this. What we're going to start by doing is taking a piece of paper and a pen, and we're going to write the alphabet out. So hopefully you can see the paper. And what we're going to do, we're going to write out our entire alphabet. So that is A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, and so on and so forth. You get the idea. I'm just going to pause while I do this. So we now have our alphabet written out like so across a page. But what that's a Z. I've put a line through my Z as well, just so that you can tell the difference between that and a 2. So we have our alphabet written out on the page like this. And then what we're going to do, we're going to put the numbers on the end as well, starting at 1 and finishing at 0. So there we have our numbers as well. So we have A through to Z, 1 and 0 there. So that is oh, actually I put a line under the 0. There we go. So you can tell the difference between a 0 and an O. So that is our whole alphabet. Now what you're going to do, you're going to write the alphabet out again underneath all of this, but you're going to shift it a number of letters over. So instead of starting here, what we'll do, we'll start under the letter G, and we'll write the letter A, like that. Yeah. And then we're going to go next to H, we're going to write B, and C underneath I, like that. And we're going to keep going until we get to the end here, and then I'll show you what we're going to do. Right, so we have just got to the end of the alphabet here. This is our Z here. We now have our numbers, so we're going to start writing our numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we've got to the end of our cipher now. So what we're going to do, we're going to carry on over here now under the A with 5. Just underneath the A there. And then we're going to have 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. So we now have, and I've used, I don't know if you can see, I've used green there instead of black to try and differentiate it. We now have a different letter correlating to a different number. So this is now going to be our cipher. So if we want to write a secret message, what we can do, let's say we want to write, I don't know, let's find a pen. We want to write a secret message, and it's I love Non-Stop Kids Entertainment, or I love NSK. Why not? So, I love NSK. So, that is the message that we want to write secretly. So what we do is we take our I love NSK, and we take our cipher, and we match each of the letters up here like this. So, let me see if I can come round here. So, the first letter we need is I. So we go along here and we find our I, which is, sorry, taking the top off, at the top just here. and the letter underneath it is C. So we're going to write down a C. And then we look for our L. The letter underneath that is an F. O is an I, and so on and so forth. I'm just going to stop for a moment, pause for a moment while I do this. So this is what our encrypted message now looks like. CFIP9HME. So this is our coded message, CFO. Now the thing is, we need to send this to someone so that they can uncode it. Now there's lots of ways of doing this. You can tell that person who you're sending it to how many letters you've shifted it over, or you could even write it into the code. So what you could do is say always start with hello, or you could always finish with your name, or you could always use shift it the same number of times every time you write to your friend. However, that is a little bit bad, because if someone realizes what you're doing, they can then, if they realize that A is always 5 and B is always 6 and M is always G, they can work it out themselves. So you might want to change how many letters you shift the alphabet over each time. And this is good. The way I like to start my secret messages when I do this is to start all of them with the word hello. So if we write hello down here, like that, and then what we can do is we can put hello, I love non-stop kids. So let's see here. H goes to B, E is 9, L is F, and O is I. So we now start all of our messages with hello, which means all of our messages using this cipher, this alphabet here, will start B9FFI, and that means hello. And from that you can work out what all of these mean. So we now need to send our message, which is this. Now how do we do that? Well, the first thing to do, because we don't want it to look like this when we send it, because then it's really obvious that it's words, and anyone can then just go, oh, that must be a secret message because I can see lots of words there. What you want to do instead is take all the spaces out, so it looks something like this. We have all of our spaces taken out. And now, so that it's even harder to work out what is being written, we're going to turn it into a square. So what we're going to do, we're going to start with the square we're going to start the square here, and we're going to work downwards like that. Now there's 13 letters here, so we don't actually have anything that we can make a square or rectangle with. So what we're going to do, we're going to just make it into a rectangle. So our first letter is B, so we're going to put a B here, like that. Our next letter is, or number even, is 9, and then we have 2 Fs. So we're going to go 2, 9, F, F. And then what we're going to do, we're going to start a new line. Our next one is ICFI, so that goes here, CFI. Then we have P, so it's P9, isn't it? Yeah, sorry, I've written Q instead of 9, it's P9HM. P9HM. And then on its own, we have E. So we're just going to stick that here as well. So we now have a square of numbers that we can send to someone. Well, and then when that person gets it, how does that person work out what it is you've sent? Well, what we're going to do as well now, we're going to make something that means that we can very easily work out what this means. And to do that, we're going to need some more paper, and we're going to need to draw some circles on that paper, and I'll show you why in just a moment. So we have some paper, and we have our first circle, and we're going to use a slightly bigger circle. So we need one small circle and one circle that's bigger. So what we're going to do, we're going to take a small circle, we're going to take a pen, we're going to draw around our small circle, like that. And then you're going to cut it out. Now be careful, you want to keep this circle intact, so you cut around here and cut around the circle, our small circle. Now what we're going to need to do as well, we're going to need to get another piece of paper. I'm going to draw our big circle on this so that our small circle can go inside of it, like this. We have our big circle drawn, we're going to cut out around that one, so we're going to have two different sized circles. So you now have two circles. We have a small circle and we have a big circle. And what we're going to do, we're going to pin these together. Now, if your parents have got split pins, that's perfect. You can use a split pin right down the middle here. I don't have any, so I'm going to improvise. I have some safety pin. I have some pins, and I have a cork from a wine bottle. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stick a pin through the middle of it and then stick that into a wine. So we now have a pin that goes in here. We have our cork here, so we can turn our little circle around inside our big circle. Now what we're going to do, we're going to write our alphabet around the big circle. Now I'm going to teach you how to do this so that you get it sort of evenly spaced. We're going to imagine that this is a clock face. At 12 o'clock, we're going to write A, because that's where we want to start. And then at 6 o'clock, we need to go halfway along the alphabet with all the numbers as well. And that would be and that would be, if I can think, R. Yes, R. So we're going to put R at the bottom where 6 o'clock would be. Then halfway between A and R, we have I. That's going to go here. And then halfway between R and A, we have the number 1. So that's going to go here. Now we're going to put the letter, so the number 0 right next to A like that. And we're going to start filling in the clock face. So we now have, on the big circle, we have 0, A, I, R, and 1. And basically we're just going to fill in all of the letters around there. So filled in, we now have our alphabet around the outside. And what we're going to do on the smaller circle on the inside, we're just going to line that up. We're just going to start with A and go all the way around so that we have our alphabet in line with all of the letters on the outside, like this. So now we can rotate our letters and numbers on the inside relative to our ones on the outside. And this is what we're going to need to be able to decode our message that we sent. So where are we? So I've moved all the bits of pieces of paper around. I'm not sure where we've got to. Here we are. So we now have our message that we have made. We've started down, we've gone like this. So we know how we've written it. So when you send this to someone, either through the post or in an email or something like that, they're going to get this square with letters and numbers, and they're going to go, right, well, we need to work out what this says. So what we're going to do, we're going to start here and read downwards like this, and we're going to unmix the letters here. So it's, let's see here. So we'll go back to black now. So we've got a green square. It starts with B, and then it goes 9FF. So we're going to write that in a line. B, 9, F, F, and then it goes ICF, I, ICF, I, P9HM, P9HM, and then it ends with E. So we know that the first 5 letters are hello, and we can use this as a test. So what we know is that this B is the same as an H. So what we're going to do, we're going to find our B on the middle one. I'm going to move our B in the middle circle to the H. And this now tells us what goes where. So H is in line with B. So we can write H. So we look here at our middle one. So when we are decoding this, we have our letter here that we look for in the middle, and then we write down the one that's above it. So H. Then we look for 9. So we look for 9 in the middle, and that is slightly out of line, but it's next to the E. Now it's quite important that you get these equally spaced, because otherwise it's going to be very difficult. So you take a lot more care doing it than what I did, so that all of the letters are equally spaced. In fact, if you want, you can even get like a ruler or something like that and line them all up. 9, F, F. So we look for our B's lined up, we look for our F, and it's in line with the L there. So we know that that is L, L. And then our I goes to O. Perfect. So we know that that says hello. And then what we need to do is work out what all of this says. So we're going to go through our wheel here. And it's going to be I, C, so go, I know obviously what it says, so I'm just going to do this. Quickly. So that is what we then get. And then it's just a case of looking for words that we know. So we know that hello is our first word, so we're going to put a slash there. And then it's illo, that is not a word, so we can guess that that's an I. Then we can see the word love. And then we know that the last one is NSK. So the message is therefore, hello, I love NSK, Non-Stop Kids Entertainment. So that is our secret message. But this is the one that I started with that I said I was going to show you. But now you understand how to decode this. So we're going to go through this together. And then that's going to be the end of the video, hopefully. So we have our 5 columns of these. So we're going to write this out as a long list of numbers and letters. So we've basically gone here, C, O, G, G, J, C, O, G, G, J, O, C, D, N, D, O, C, D, N, D, and so on and so forth. Now we know that our first letter is hello. So we know that C is equal to H. So we're going to put our H in line with our C. And then E, and so on and so forth. So I've just noticed a mistake in my code. That should be a 0, not an O. Anyway, so what we're going to do, we know that that C is an H. So we're going to take our H here, and we're going to take our C here. I'm going to line that up with our H. So we know that our C is our H. Our 0 goes to our E. So we can use our little key here to work out what this says. So I'm just going to do that very quickly for you. Our C obviously is H, E, G, G. So that's obviously hello because we start with hello. So this is what we use to test to make sure we've got our thing here lined up. And if we continue this, it looks like this. So we now have a long list of letters here. So let's have a look. We know that it starts with hello, so that's our first word. Then we have THIS. Oh, that's a word. That's this. Is a word. A secret message. So that is our code for this is a secret message. I really do hope you go and have a lot of fun doing this. There's a lot of cool things you can do. So you can write this on a jigsaw and you can send back to each other. You can even like swap the vowels. So instead of A, B, C, D, E, F, G, you start with U and then you go B, C, D, and then go backwards maybe. So O, and then just basically reverse all the vowels in the middle of the alphabet, and that adds an extra layer of security to it. You could start off with different words, end with different words. You can twist it a different number of ways. You can write it on a jigsaw and send it to someone, and then they have to rearrange. They have to build this jigsaw, and then they can read your message. You can send it in an email. There's so many cool things you can do with this secret language, secret writing stuff. I do hope you enjoy it. I've been Alex from Non-Stop Kids Entertainment. Please do like and subscribe to the YouTube page. Do go and follow us on Facebook. We're doing loads of these videos. There's loads of dancing, singing, magic, you name it, it's probably on here. You can even learn Makaton or other bits and pieces. Other than that, have a fantastic day. Thank you very much. I've been Alex Foden.